Well, I want to tell you a wee bit more about those days. There's many, many, many stories, but I'll just highlight a few more just to give you an idea just how great a God that we serve. One of the times we went in, and a lot of the young people, there were some up from the places like Limerick, and we're in the middle of the Bogside and below the big flats. People will remember them. And they set up and they started singing and sharing their testimonies. And I could see the upper windows beginning to open, and a bit of shouting was going on. I knew, they didn't know, but I knew it was directed towards us. And I thought, oh dear, we're going to get a stone from the top of the, because that's where they did the stoning, from the very top of the big flats. But inside a few minutes, the doors flung open, and out came a crowd of young people running towards us. Of course, the people from Limerick, they didn't have an idea. They just went straight to them and give them actually wee gospels and wee booklets to read. And I could see all over the place sitting, these young people were sitting. And I think it was the Irish accents that really caught them off guard. And they're sitting talking to them about the Lord, and a great crowd gathered around us, and they began walking, and they began to play the guitars and sing as we walked through different places in the Bogside and round, and it was just like the Pied Piper. We set up and we told them what Jesus had done for us, and walked a bit further, did the same. We did that that night, and it was an amazing miracle that we weren't killed. It really was. And we went up another night to Craig and did the same thing. And there was such a crowd round us that night that the helicopter was over our head, and the IRA came into our midst and came forward and telling us to get out, for we were drawing attention for the army. Were all around us because they thought there was a riot about to start. And there was a big guy there from Crossmaglen called Mike Finnegan. And as the IRA men came forward, he just stuck out the big hand and caught them off guard again, because the man just shook hands with them and he says, you need to leave. He says, that's okay, we're just leaving anyway. So there were times like that, good times, that if it wasn't just for the hand of God, you know, you would never have come out of it. Another time, and I'm going to tell you just a few wee stories about that, and then I'll go on to something else. But there's another time whenever there was a few of them, alcoholics from Craigan Heights, a few of them, and they all kind of backslid one time. They went back into the pub, and we went up, three of us went up to the flat where they all were, and there was one or two that I didn't know, but they were very, very antagonistic against us. One guy in particular, and there was like two brothers, but one of the brothers we knew, and he was tanked up in wine, and first thing I seen was a cup coming flying past me and saying, what he said then was, it wasn't the devil that made Johnny do this, it was Johnny Barber did it. And you know, I thought, oh dear. And then there was another guy there, and he says, you know, what are you doing? And had very antagonistic. Anyway, Johnny went into the room, and he was just bouncing off the very wall, crying out, God, take the devil out of me. And I could hear his head bouncing off the very wall. And this other guy says, whatever you've done to my brother, you better do something, because he's going mad in there. And you better pray. So, you know what? We got on our knees, quickest you've ever seen. And the next thing I knew, this guy was on his knees beside me. And we were calling upon the Lord, and it was loud and it was difficult. But he stopped me and he says, what are you boys doing? And some of them said, like, you call on the Lord and you'll see what we're doing. Jesus Christ is alive. He can change your life. And he stopped for a moment and he turned around and he says, whatever you is doing, my very heart is burning. My fingers is burning. I don't know what this is. And I said, you need to pray. And he says, His prayer was, God, you better help our Johnny in there for he's going mad. And he got up, and I had a big Bible, and he started to take the Bible and read a few things from it. He says, you were showing me that earlier. You were showing me that earlier. And you know, he went down and he was tanked with drink going down. And when he got up, he seemed quite sober, to be truthful. And you know what? God is a miraculous working God. Now, if it wasn't for the miracle of God, we should not have got out of there alive. So fierce these guys were. That's exactly what they would have done. They would have killed you. And it's to tell you that God is able, in the midst of the most difficult circumstances, to protect you. Now, I don't say go out and throw yourself under the bus and God will protect you. No, it's not like that. We were telling them about the Lord. We were in a different mission for them. But you know, God worked miracles. And God is a miracle. I always want you to hear this from me, that God is a God of miracles. And he does miraculous things. And praise God, that's who he is. And I'll tell you a wee bit more maybe tomorrow again. Thank you.